Welcome. Welcome to the Real Man Group podcast. And as always, I'm so happy to be here. So how you healing? How you healing today? Fuck how you feeling, how you healing. So thank you for tuning in to the fastest growing podcast on the internet. And I thank each and every one of you guys for supporting the channel and helping this community grow. And I'm your host, Mr. Gray. Welcome to the Real Man Group podcast. Let's dig right into it. Fellas, you gotta learn how to control your motherfucking emotions. Control your emotions. See, we tend to try to control each and every aspect of our lives. How much money we making, dealing with the baddest bitch, chasing the bag, stature. But the most important thing that we are not able to control is our emotions. And that is probably the most important thing that we need to gain control over. Everything that we do is based on our emotions. How we feel, how that person makes us feel, how the situation that we are in makes us feel. See, naturally, men are logical beings. We don't operate in a space like women do. Women are comfortable operating in an emotional space. So when we have to operate in that realm, that's when shit gets crazy for us. Because we don't know how to handle the mixed emotions and still incorporate some form of logic into the equation. So we got to learn how to control our emotions. And it's not just in relationships, it's in every aspect of our lives. It's in work, it's in raising our children, and of course in relationships. Because it's one thing that a man tend to not really zone into because it's not masculine for us to focus on our emotional part of us. And a lot of us is living in denial, the fact that we are not emotional. We are not emotional beings. And that's the problem. Because we just as emotional as women are. Let me paint this picture. When your favorite sport team lose, how do you feel after that? What's the feeling that you get when you are let down? That's your emotions. Or let's just say you are chasing someone, you are into a woman, and she's not responsive. She's not giving you the same energy back. That's emotions. So Jay-Z said, we was taught everything but emotional intelligence. And if you think about that, that's a very legit statement. We are taught how to be fathers. We are taught how to be providers. We are taught that men are not supposed to cry. Men are not supposed to show emotions. So we was never taught, our parents never taught us how to love, how to control our emotions. So what sparked this episode is I had a conversation with my 9-year-old son. And I asked him, I said, why do you cry so much? And he turned to me, he says, how else am I able to express myself? And at that moment, I said, I need to educate myself on emotional intelligence. And then once I started digging, I realized that I lack a certain level of emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand with a skillful set to control your emotions and emotions of others. So it took my son telling me, how else am I able to express myself, for me to really dig into this. Look at it this way. A man that's operating at a level where his emotional intelligence is at an all-time high is a space where nobody is able to fuck with this dude. If you are able to develop a high IQ of emotional intelligence, there's no one that can take anything away from you. So if you look at it relationship-wise, the things that piss us off and how we go about handling the situation. So there's a lot of men that are incarcerated because they didn't learn how to control their emotions. And that's something that we need to really zone in and be able to control our emotions. Because if you're not able to operate in that space, trust and believe, bro, you're going to be lonely. You're not going to make as much money as you set out to make. In terms of starting a business or career, it's not going to work for you because you don't know how to control your emotions. When things are not going your way, then your reaction usually is anger. So in relationships, when you're not getting what you want from your significant other, you shut down, you don't communicate, and it develops a certain level of anger. That's something that we have to work on. We have to work on that. Because let me tell you something. For those who are dating and looking to get into relationships, when a woman meets a man that is emotionally intelligent, it's like having the biggest bag. So right now you are in competition with yourself. And the only thing that's holding you back is you zoning into your emotions and being able to tap into it. So I did a lot of research on emotional intelligence. And some of it I agree with and some of it I don't. So what they said was a man that has a high level of emotional intelligence in relationships will allow for a woman to add criticism, critique, and that man is going to be able to receive it at a point where he's not feeling like he's being belittled or being reprimanded. That's something that I don't agree with, because the only reason why I don't agree with it, because, the whole saying happy wife, happy life, I'm a strong believer in happy spouse, happy house. So that's something that we all have to be able to feed and give in. But emotional intelligence, man, invest in that. And understand that every battle is not meant to be fought. And everything is not meant to be said. And knowing when to walk away from the situation. Because every fight ain't meant to be fought. Right now, there's a fella, I'm pretty sure, that is suffering the repercussions of him not being able to control his emotions. He either lost a job, lost a relationship, or just can't seem to get out of that rut and be able to be successful. Because even if you're operating in a workspace, your boss tells you to do something that you don't want to do, your emotions get involved with it. In relationships, your significant other is asking something of you that you feel like, I'm not going to do that. How many times did you say, I'm not going to let that motherfucker play me. I'm not going to let her play me. I'm not going to let him play me. But if you guys are working towards something together collectively, why is it a competition? Why do you feel the need to say, I'm not going to let this person play me? When you guys are on the same accord, where you should be. And I'm only talking from a man's perspective, but there's a lot of women who lack emotional intelligence as well. And hopefully y'all are able to get something from this episode where you can go back and work on yourself. Is that argument really that serious where you lost respect for the person that you are with? And that is one of the biggest things for men, is losing that respect from your significant other. That's almost like a dagger to the heart to hear the person that you are with tell you that they are losing or lost respect for you. But it all ties into being able to control your emotions. So this is a really serious topic for me. I normally don't read from articles or have any type of notes. Everything is just off the top, but there's certain things that I need to really, really touch into. So I have a list here, right? It's the 11 things that emotional intelligent men don't do. So I'm going to read the list. I'm going to add my feedback towards it. But this is really, really important for us because we need to be able to become that person that we always want to be. Because deep down inside, fellas, there's certain things about us that we know that we need to change. But in order for us to change that, we need to be able to acknowledge that these problems does exist. You know, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, it's a form of insanity. But it starts with us digging within and actually admitting that there's some problems. So number one, things that emotional, intelligent men won't do is they don't get into a lot of arguments because they see that it's just going to drag them into a space where they don't really want to operate in. So have you ever had an argument or a disagreement with someone and it's just like, I don't want to talk about this right now. I don't feel that this conversation or this topic is as important as other things that we have going on. So being able to walk away from an uncomfortable conversation, knowing that the flame is at an all-time high, the emotions is at an all-time high, and being able to just say, listen, we can talk about this later. That is the number one thing of emotional, intelligent men don't do. I can say I did that several times where let's not talk about this right now. Can we pick this back up at a later time? Okay, so number two, they don't resent others' success. So we don't look at other people and what they're doing and resent them for it, hate them for it. If anything, we want to promote the success. We want people to win versus resent someone from making moves and shaking. It's one thing that I see that's very common that has happened, that is happening in a lot of relationships, is that it turned into a competition. Like you guys are competing against each other versus supporting one another. How could you win when you're in competition with your spouse? How could you win when y'all supposed to be winning together? The competition is outside of those doors, outside of those walls. There's no reason why you should be competing with your significant other. Number three, they don't make rash decisions. They allow for time to pass and be able to make solid, emotionless decisions. We all been faced with that. If the relationship is not going where we would like for it to go, we're like, fuck this shit, man. But all it takes is for us to really sit down and think about what it is that we are faced with and look for the reason why we stay so long. So that is the number three thing is that we don't make rash decisions. Number 4, they don't make you feel insignificant. See, I can agree with that. If you bring value into my life, I'm not going to make you feel like you ain't worth shit. I'm going to encourage, I'm going to feed, I'm going to acknowledge all the things that you have done for me. Because there's a level of emotional intelligence. So moving along, we got number 5. They don't worry about pleasing others. So to be in a position where you are so comfortable in who you are and how you handle your business, you don't worry about pleasing others. You are focused on you are focused on driving, you are focused on yourself, and everybody else is just an added bonus. If you're able to benefit of what I'm doing and who I am, then that's great. We're allowing for you to play in our playground. But we don't worry about pleasing others because we are so self-confident in ourselves. Either you fuck with us or you fucking don't. It's that simple. Because after a certain time, you realize that at the end of the day, it's me. Because what I eat don't make you shit. So why do I care about pleasing others? Number 6, they don't reject their partner's influence. Okay. So if you have a strong relationship, a strong foundation, and there's no competition, as I mentioned earlier, if you guys are operating on that frequency, who's the best person to give you advice and criticism? Is the person that you love the most. And hopefully that's the person that you are with. So it's okay for you to be open to accepting your partner's influence. So number 7, they don't criticize others. See, I done that before. I done criticize others because I tend to try to find myself or see myself in other people. So it's like, how would I deal with this situation if I was faced with it? I think we all do that. Or the person doesn't respond or react the way that you probably would have reacted to a certain situation. So I won't say that if we criticize, I would say it's more of a personal opinion of certain things. So number 8, they don't fear being alone. So emotional intelligent man does not fear being alone and being able to self-reflect on himself and what it is that he needs to work on and achieve. What's happening is a lot of people is jumping from relationships to relationships. And they're not allowing for themselves to grow, to become better people, to become a better person. So I understand a lot of people who are used to being in relationships or having someone that they fear being alone. That other side of the bed is very cold, and I understand that. But you got to be able to grow within. You got to be able to focus on yourself and be comfortable with just being alone. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That would definitely help the channel grow, and I appreciate it. Number 9, they're not right all the time. So a person that is emotionally intelligent, it's okay for you to not have the answers to everything. It's okay to say, I don't know. And it's okay to say, okay, I was wrong. And that a lot of people have a problem with that. A lot of people have a problem with admitting when they are wrong or saying that they just don't know the answer to the question. So emotional intelligent man is not right all the time. They are able to see, I'm human. I made mistakes. I'm going to try not to make the same mistakes again. But I'm human. And I don't have the answers to everything. So that's number 9. So moving along. Number 10, they don't blame others when something goes wrong. So there's one thing that a lot of people struggle with is they look at the situation and they say, it's not my fault. The reason why I'm in this situation is because of this person. So when relationships don't go well and they end terribly, they don't take accountability. They don't take accountability for why the relationship failed. They don't take accountability on why they lost their job. It's everyone else's fucking problem. It's everybody else's fault on the reason why the person's not able to excel. We all know somebody who is full of excuses. It's always what this bitch did. It's always what this dude did. It's always how the system is set up. Versus, what did I do and what didn't I do to make this right? And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have shortcomings. It's okay to be imperfect. But you got to be able to take accountability for your actions. So number 11, they don't prioritize money over well-being. So an emotional intelligent man does not sacrifice his well-being for money. He's not willing to sacrifice his sleep, his hobbies, his enjoyment over money. He is able to sit there and understand that there's other things in life that are important. There's a lot of things in life that holds more value, like spending times with your kids or having date night with your significant other. As it stands right now, and have always stand, men struggle, man. We juggle so much shit. We have the weight of the world on our shoulders. But at the same time, we got to be able to perform. And we got to perform for her. We got to perform for our kids. We have to perform for our work, our careers, our family. And I understand that it's a lot that comes with that. And sometimes it could be very overwhelming for us. And this is where we need to better and strengthen our emotional intelligence. So when we are faced with these challenges, that we're able to make sound decisions and be able to accept the accountability for our actions. Because once, I'm telling y'all, man, I have experienced this just on a little bit of work that I did do on myself. It's a totally different type of flex. And the people that are going to gravitate towards you is amazing, because they are able to feel your energy and feel that you are working on yourself. And emotional intelligence is something that everybody would appreciate, rather male or female. I always said, man, a woman that's able to admit when she's wrong and to take accountability is probably the woman that you really want to entertain and invest your time in. And I can only imagine how it feels for a woman to speak to a man that's so transparent and open and honest about the things that he needs to improve on, that he needs to work on, or has taken the time to work on himself. You can fuck the shit out of a woman. You can make her reach the highest climax that she could possibly reach. But if you are emotionally intelligent, is by far greater than the greatest sex, because they would be able to connect with you on that level, and you would be able to connect with them on that level. So if there's anything that you took away from this episode, is focus on your emotional intelligence. Push yourself. Open your mind. Learn your triggers and focus on those triggers. Find out why they even exist. We all have road rage. Man, I go crazy on the road. The fuck, you don't see me driving? But sometimes we just got to be able to let shit go. Let it go. Because it's not worth raising your blood pressure. It's not worth you going out of your character. And if that is your character, then you got a lot more work that you need to work on. You know, like even down to like abusive relationships. Rather it's male or female. Because a lot of women are abusive just as much as there are men. It's because they don't know how to control their emotions. And there's no reason why you should be sitting in a jail cell because you didn't control your emotions. So it's one thing that I need for you guys to do is zone in and figure out how you could become a better person by developing a higher level of emotional intelligence. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Man Group podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Smash that like button, hit the bell notification. I do this because I believe in this. That is the only reason why Mr. Gray sits in front of this camera and talk about the topics that I do. It's not for no other reason. I'm not looking to become rich off of this. I'm not looking to become famous. I do this because I believe in this. Because there's no way that I'm the only person that is struggling with a lot of the issues and topics that I bring up. And I know that there's people who are dealing with the same issues and just not being vocal about it. And I don't care. People are going to judge you no matter who you are or what you're doing in life. Let them judge me. Judge me. Because trust and believe there's someone that you love that is close to you that is probably struggling with these same issues that I'm bringing in front of y'all right now. And I'm just giving you the jewels, the gems, the diamonds to help them through. And that you would thank me for later. We're going to talk about any and everything. And if you have something that you would like for me to touch on, reach out to me. Shoot me a DM. Follow me on Instagram at The Real Man Group. And I would love to put together a show. But emotional intelligence, fellas, work on yourself and become emotional intelligent. Because once you do, you are able to operate at a high level frequency that everything in your life is going to change. And learn how to woosah. Let shit go. Meditate. Light some candles. Change the energy around you. And if you need to change the people around you, do that. Because we don't need no energy vultures around us. So viewers, how you healing? And thank you for tuning in to the fastest growing podcast on YouTube. And I'm your host, Mr. Gray. Until the next one. Peace.